Hello everyone, my name is Heather Braggs and today I'm going to discuss generational differences in the workplace. So we're going to explore the work habits from baby boomers all the way to Generation Z. So again, discussing the different generations, starting with baby boomers to Generation Z and how they're all in the workplace and how their differences in values and priorities often affect their work habits and different types of team orientation. Statement behind this would be that generational differences are represented through the different values and priorities among the individual generations, thus creating potential problems for each generation and potentially opposing work habits in the workplace. So let's start by exploring the different generations, starting with the baby boomers. So in my experience, these are like my grandparents. So these are the people that were born in the era of the Great Depression. So they value things like commitment and loyalty to an agency. And by loyalty, I mean like a lifelong loyalty. So most of these people are starting day one and staying within that agency until retirement. Then if we move on to Generation Y or millennials, that would be more like my generation. So something that we value would be things like a social life. So our idea of loyalty to an agency may be much less than those of a baby boomer. So to us, potentially staying in a place 1 or 2 years would mean that we were, showed some sort of loyalty to that agency. Also, millennials grew up in the age of technology, which means that things like internet, smartphones, computers come much more easily to us. So that's the type of work habits that we tend to use in the workplace. And then you have Generation Z, or the Facebook generation. Again, these individuals also grew up in the age and era of technology, but they focus more on instant gratification. What they want is what they want, and when they want it right now. And so for some, they think that this generation lacks the ability to understand what it means to struggle and work hard for things. So, more specifically, discussing the generations in social work, because that's the field that I currently am in. So in social work, you have people from all different generations, those who have been there for 20 or 30 years in the same position, and those who are fresh out of college and just starting out. And in this type of work, experience does matter, but sometimes experience can also create bad habits. And so when new generations come in, trying to eliminate some of those bad habits and take a new approach to social work can often cause issues. One of those new approaches would be the use of technology. 40 or 50 years ago, technology wasn't a thing, and so things were done by hand, pen and paper. Now, the digital world is something that we all live in, and so notes and reports and everything like that, all is done digitally. So that can often cause some barriers for those in older generations, such as baby boomers. In order to further explore this, I would like to do an observational study. Because I'm a supervisor in my position, I would want to observe those who I currently supervise. I would want to observe them in their day-to-day work routine when it comes to performing their job duties, such as paperwork, integrating with those in their team, how each one kind of looks at the different ideas and ways to relate to their clients, especially in situations where sometimes clients are the same age as the worker in the same generation, and so how they approach that. I would like to do that obviously during a normal work day, and in a setting in which multiple generations would be present, but not one in which clients would be present, in order to preserve the confidentiality of the client. So the research question behind this would be, how do generational differences affect teamwork and the ability to perform job duties in the social work field? Because I do believe that different generations approach different aspects of the job and look at teamwork differently. So just an idea of kind of what I'll be looking for in the representation of the different generations. There's a few pictures here. So on the top left-hand side, you see a picture of my grandfather who recently celebrated his 70th birthday. So he would be from that baby boomer generation. In the middle, you have a picture of myself and my husband. Obviously, it looks like we're about to go to a party, which kind of encompasses the ideals of that millennial generation and the importance of a social life and obviously use of technology. And then third, you would have someone closer to Generation Z so that's a picture of my younger brother on the right, who has fallen asleep with a cell phone in his hand. Obviously, that is the utmost importance to that generation, even more so than the millennials, I would say. So in conclusion, I obviously do not doubt that that each generation comes with their own set of values and beliefs and priorities. All of these things can be used to benefit the workplace and each team at an organization, but only when they're taken into consideration correctly. So research that I have done has shown that it is possible to integrate different generations into one successful and cohesive team if certain measures and accommodations are taken in order to make that happen. So remembering the things that are important to each generation and using those things to make your team work.